Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me as always is Rob.
Hello, everybody.
How's it going?
It's going. I'm having more lovely computer stuff happen.
We're just like plagued with computer issues over here at Epic Gaming Night. Matt's not with us tonight because apparently there was a power surge at his house, or a power cutting off and then back on, and now his computer won't come on for whatever reason. Ugh, it's terrible. But at least it wasn't technically on fire this time.
Yeah, that's definitely a plus that it's not on fire. Quick shout out real quick though to Liz, representing Epic Gaming Night on the Board Game Geek Facebook page. When everybody posts which episodes, which podcast you listen to, saw it, and I saw Liz tagged Epic Gaming Night. You're an animal in all the good ways. You're amazing, Liz, and we appreciate you.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's always cool to see all the people that we always see in chat like pop up all over the rest of the internet, like throwing up questions everywhere and talking to a lot of other people. It's always cool to see. It's like we have our own little community, which is super awesome. And all of you guys out there and gals and everyone out there are awesome listeners. So
yes,
it's cool
we love you.
Be a part of it.
Yeah. Oh man, good stuff.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be talking about conventions, whether they're big conventions or small conventions. But we're going to talk about a little bit of news and stuff and what we've been playing as well first. So did you see the news that Asmodee has acquired Lookout Games, aka Mayfair Games?
Yeah, but they already did that though. I mean,
pretty much when they got Catan.
Yeah, they did that because didn't Mayfair let go some people last year? Like they let go of a lot of people. So
well, Catan was their big game.
Yeah, I mean, what does Mayfair come out with since Asmodee bought them?
They have a bunch of other like bigger like Euro games, like Agricola, and a bunch of the other like Caverna type stuff. Like a lot of people are really big into those games. So those are actually like really popular games and stuff like that. So those just
have they come out though with any new reprints or anything since Asmodee bought them, or since they laid off all those people?
I know they came out with that Cave versus Cave game, but other than that. No, I think they've been like winding down. So I think a lot of people were wondering like how they were gonna hang after losing Catan, because like it's such a big like property for like if you own Catan and then you no longer have Catan, what are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
I mean, there are still tons of other publishers out there that aren't currently taken over by Asmodee, but I just wonder if we're just going to continue to see the trend where as a publisher you strive to become big enough to be taken over by Asmodee. If that's like what's going to start happening. Like once you get to a certain point, they're going to offer you a number and you're going to be like, okay, sure, I'll do it. So who knows?
But that's the trend that they're going on. I mean, that's what they're doing, buying up all these companies. Yeah. Whether you're big or small, if you're producing a hot IP, they're coming out with all that stuff. So, we'll see. Sorry for the yawn, everybody. We will see.
Nice. Awesome. Well, the other thing on the news docket is that this weekend, this Saturday, Recon is going on. I've talked about this several times on the show before, but it is a convention that I'm helping host and run. Me and my pastor at my church, Mike, and then my friend Luke are all helping put this together. There's going to be tons of like play to win games there. And like there's been a lot of like support from publishers and stuff sending in games to give away at the convention, and it's literally just like a free event where people can come and play games and just hang out. It's just we went to International Tabletop Day, and Mike was looking for he was like, man, that was awesome. We should make that sort of thing happen more often. So we decided to put together Recon. We actually had one back in the fall, and now we're doing one in the I guess winter-ish time. It was like the beginning of the fall. It was like September, and now it's February. So it hasn't been that long since we had our last one, but we were super excited. We had a bunch of requests, people being like, hey, when are you guys having a big game event again? Because there were some people that couldn't make it, and then we're excited about doing it again. So if you're anywhere near the North Carolina area, I know I'll be there. Rob said he might be able to stop by.
I'm coming by. I got permission from the wife.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I will come by.
I'm excited. We're going to be like having multiple rooms with tons of games. I'm going to bring a ton of my library there. Last year it was great because like I brought a lot of my board game library there, and it was really cool to see like a ton of those games actually get played. Like like people were just grabbing them and putting them down and throwing them on the table and playing them, and it was really awesome to see. We had a lot of I brought a lot of my kids games and stuff as well, and it was really cool to see a game event where there were like families like playing games together. But I brought a bunch of my family games, and there were a bunch of like young boys like building pitch car tracks and playing over and over again. So that was really fun to see. I also I don't know if you saw, Rob, but the paper contacted Mike about doing an interview, and then they ended up like Mike had told him about like me and how I was a little bit of the influence of him wanting to start the thing at Recon to do it together. And so the paper wanted to talk to me as well, so they called me up and did an interview with me. And the guy was just like so amazed because he like had no clue about the board game hobby and stuff, and he wasn't really asking as much questions about Recon as he was just about like the board game media stuff, which was pretty cool. So I was like describing to him, telling him like all the stuff we do with the podcast and Favorite Game Friday and all sorts of different stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. He was like, well, after I do this like Recon piece, I'm gonna like go and like see what's happening there live, and then like maybe we can just do a article like on your board game media stuff. I was like, that would be crazy. So it was pretty cool to get interviewed by the local paper about board games. I went to like straight up full like board game evangelism mode. I was like trying to describe to this guy in the nicest way possible about
like,
what it was.
Come on, yeah,
and trying to not make it sound like too nerdy. I probably came off as too obsessed with it, but I tried to make sure he knew like families can do it and you can have fun with people, and it's cool because it's not just video games, like all the stuff that we preach on the show all the time or talk about on the show. Because we like games, and it's really cool to talk to someone who doesn't know anything about games, like to share your excitement with that person when they're actually sitting there over the phone listening to it. So I was able to vent to that guy a little bit. So I haven't seen the article yet, so we're still waiting to see which paper. It might have been in the last Saturdays, or maybe it's going to be in the one coming up on Thursday. But we'll see. It's going to be a hit piece, and he's just going to be like, these nerds.
Hey, nerds rule the world right now. So what is this Aeons and Legacy? Do you know what they're talking about? In chat, there's some people that are talking about a Kickstarter that just launched today, and several of our listeners have said that they've jumped on it already. Aeons and Legacy.
Nice.
I can't. I mean,
any more Kickstarters?
Not right now. Not right now. Not right now. I'm still hoping for Loot and Shoot. That I hope Loot and Shoot funds. I'm really excited for Loot and Shoot. It looks like a great game, but I can't. I don't even want to look at it. I'm not going to look at Aeons and Legacy because they're even saying right now it's a Legacy game, or they're saying, is that just the name? Oh, it's a deck builder. Okay, never mind.
Just came out. Like I think I remember seeing.
No, it just launched today.
Yeah. So I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet.
All right. Deck builders are good when other people own them. So yeah, that probably just lost for me, just because I don't have the time to sort through all the cards. Now, if it's a deck builder that's not like Legendary, where you get hundreds of cards and they don't even sort them together, that might be a thing. I don't know. I don't want to look at it though. I'm going to be positive. A buddy of mine, I won't say his name, but you know who he is, right? You've met him a couple times now. So I woke up this morning. No, he backs several Kickstarters too. Well, I woke up this morning. Actually, I was already up, but I got back from taking my daughter to school this morning, and all of a sudden my phone started blowing up. Just like, you're terrible. your head's too big. If your head was donated to science, they donate it back. All this other great, amazing stuff. And I remembered he said he was going to do this to me every Tuesday to make sure that I was just humble and nice and I wasn't so negative. And so I'm gonna try to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying not to vent and get upset or go off of anything bad. And to you, special listener that's listening, oh man, the things that I want to say that I won't say.
Is he like your angel on your shoulder, like trying to tell you to do the
He's
different
like
good
the
things?
devil on my
Oh,
shoulder. He's
stabbing you.
yeah. No, this man is no angel.
Yeah, I'm
But
pretty sure he was an
anyway,
angel to me.
no, no, not to anybody, not to his family, not to him. But I love him. It's weird. It's a love hate relationship. I think he's my friend just because he feels sorry for me. But anyway, I love him to death.
Accountability partnerships. There you go.
I mean, that's really what it is. He's just like, hey, man, you need to quit being so negative on the podcast because you're starting to because you're getting all these games and stuff. You're starting to become like a critic, and you just need to be a fan. I'm gonna start tearing you down.
Fun.
Just like have fun. And I'm like, yeah, come on, man. Like, come on, stop it. Just leave me alone. And so, like,
Hey,
my
at least
phone.
he's not alpha player policing you.
Uh see, that's the worst because like it makes me feel bad. Like I genuinely feel bad when somebody says, "Hey, Rob Raffle playing" or something like that. Like,
Anybody who's loud, people will yell and say crazy stuff like that sometimes.
oh, but I genuinely feel bad. Like, crap. I'm not trying to ruin anybody else's experience. I mean, I genuinely think I'm helping. I'm not trying to tell them what to do. I'm trying to help. But as soon as I hear that, all of a sudden, just like a bad taste comes in my mouth, and I shut down. So if you want me to shut down, just start calling me an alpha player, and I'll just look at you and be like,
So, funny thing about chat is YouTube rolled out a top chat thing. So I had it like set to that because like, hey, this will filter out the spam comments and things like that. And you had said a bunch of people had said things about Aeon Legacy in the chat, and I was like, I literally don't see it. And I'm like, oh, let me actually switch over to live chat, and we had like 50 more chat comments that I hadn't seen because YouTube was filtering out everything. I'm like, what? What's going on? So I fixed that, so now everybody can see it in the stream. Yeah, there's way more comments than it appeared to be at first.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on.
I was like, huh? That's weird. But yeah, I had like just started. This is the first time that's happened, but hey, I fixed it. Cool. But yeah, now I can see everybody's nice faces in chat. Some of you, it just didn't even, like, you said hi, and it literally filtered it out. Goodness, guys. Stop spamming
Way to go,
YouTube.
YouTube.
I'm just kidding. Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I guess that's kind of our news. If you don't have any other crazy Kickstarters that chat wants us to talk about.
I don't know, man. I'm excited for what's coming. I feel like 2018 is going to be like the year of Christmas.
Oh, yeah, man.
I don't know if I've been as excited in a year for board games as I've been this year.
Yeah. And it's also, it's already been announced. So.
Yeah. I mean, and there's so much stuff that hasn't been announced. And there's some things that have been announced, but then they were announced like a long time ago and they're on the back burner. Like the freaking Starship Samurai with Isaac. I'm excited for more of that stuff. This whole speaking of Isaac Vega in Plaid Hat, the next Crossroads game, I know we got teased with that. Which I don't know if it was like an official tease, but Jerry did say it, and so we'll take it to the bank. I don't know, it's just a good year. All the Kickstarters, everything coming, all the games. TI4 was a lot of fun, even though that was a last year launch and stuff like that.
Yeah. Dude, I'm pretty sure that I need to plan to do that again before everybody forgets how to play. And TI4 might be a like few times a year game where TI3 was only like a once a year game.
Oh, freaking man, I totally forgot. Just in like a week or two, we have the new Batman Kickstarter.
Dude, I've been looking at that.
It looks good. It looks really good. And that's the problem. Is it looks really good. Like this is going to be this. Now, I don't know if the Batman's going to come out this year. I'm excited for it. I don't know if it's going to come out this year. But man, yeah,
Yeah, I think is that Monolith? Yeah, it's Monolith. Monolith is like really slow at getting their kick. I'm pretty sure the Conan one took like forever to come out. But I really liked the mechanics of the Conan game. That Batman game like
The
has
only
me.
thing I didn't like about Conan, and this is not being negative, but the only thing I didn't like about the Conan game is I wish there was more of a campaign.
Yeah,
It was all skirmish,
yeah.
you versus you type of a thing, and I wish it was
I didn't even mind that because I mean I have so many campaign games. I would like I mean I wouldn't mind just like straight up solid like scenarios to play through. Like I mean, which is fine. That's kind of what Conan has.
something
My
something.
my problem with Conan is that when you played Conan or as the bad guys, you had a great time. But when you played as like the other characters, it was a
It was
different
okay.
experience.
Yeah.
Cause like I played as Conan the first time I ever played the game, and I'm like, this game is great. I'm jumping across ships. I'm like running up and slashing a dude, and then slashing through a dude, and going and hitting like throwing all my gems, because you use little gems to like track what you're doing, and like that's kind of like your energy for the game. You can like
Yeah.
be conservative with it, or you can throw tons of it down and do tons of awesome actions. And I was just doing mad crazy things with Conan. And then I played the game as like the wizard character, and I was literally just casting protection spells on myself and like doing nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, this is really boring. And I mean, even some of the other characters, they're kind of a little bit more like middle, but I don't think the characters' fun level was balanced. Like Conan was up here in what he could do, like just like so much awesome, crazy stuff, and all the rest of the characters were really lame. So I'm
But I
hoping it's
think
not the same in Batman.
I'm hoping they will have addressed that and realize that and fix that but just the minis alone and everything
Yeah.
and the board and the artwork for this Batman looks so good.
I
I mean, it looks so good that I'm sad because it's like I really like I really don't need to back this right now.
Yeah.
So
I really enjoy like even like the way that the one player that's versus the others, the way that they
Yeah.
activate like the bad guys. They use this like gym system, and there's like these
Yeah.
sliding bad guys, and when you activate one unit, it costs you a ton of gems to activate it again, like after you've just activated. But if you wait and activate a bunch of other ones, it gets cheaper and cheaper. I just think that system's really cool and really simple as well, the way that it kind of works.
it's a good system.
Yeah.
It's a good system.
Good times.
But everybody go back, loot and shoot.
oh yeah,
Go
for
back
sure.
it right now. Please, I want to shoot rubber bands at people. I want it to fund.
Oh yeah, for real. If you're looking for a crazy game where you can shoot rubber bands at minute or little guys on the board slash each other. Check out
Stephen
the-
Avery also did say on Facebook that for everybody that backs it, if it's successful, I believe he's gonna shoot the guy who's the owner and creator of Vile Games. Like there'll be
a live
think there's
stream
gonna
with
be
him
video.
rubber band shooting the owner.
yeah
That's
one rubber
awesome.
band for every backer.
That's awesome.
So
Nice. I hope he's
it's
like
gonna be good.
just has all of the guns like lined up, just all loaded, all at the same time, and just like
Are you gonna back Batman, Roy?
the only possible way I would back Batman is if they're having like a marketplace or whatever at Recon, if I sold a ton of games and somehow had extra money. Other than that, I'm way too broke for ridiculously $100 games like Batman's gonna be. And even if I do back, it's definitely not gonna be all in like most people do. It would be like bare minimum, which stinks because I'm pretty sure that game's not going to stores. Like you get it on the Kickstarter or you don't get it. It's gonna be the same way Hate
Well,
is.
Conan went to the stores.
Right. But Batman is
Are they saying Kickstarter exclusive?
the entire game is Kickstarter exclusive. I don't know how much I like that because it's like, actually I hate it honestly because it's like if I don't have the money when the game's on Kickstarter, I don't get the game unless they decide to re-Kickstart it like they've done with Gloomhaven and Seventh Continent and stuff like that.
See, normally I don't hate that idea, and I'm totally for that idea. For
You're
like
just
hate,
I'm a little bit too broke right now to back Batman.
yeah, like right now, I am a little too broken. So if they were to do that, I'd be like, no, please, please, or like do a Gloomhaven and do like another wave, No, Pascal in chat, he's saying he thinks you're right, and I hope you're both wrong. But if anything, if it is successful, bring it back for like another wave or something like that, like they did with Gloomhaven, and Seventh Continent as well. Didn't they bring Seventh Continent back?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Awesome. Well, we can talk about what games we've been playing because I know we've
oh
both
man,
played some exciting things.
yeah, we did.
Um, well, the game that I played, I talked about the same game last week, but I know Rob wants to get into this game as well. But I'll talk about it because Rob has another game he wants to talk about as well. I'm pretty sure.
Uh huh.
But we got to play Rising Sun again, but this time we played 6-player Rising Sun, and it was literally insane. I invited like just whoever to come over, and like the whole game group came, and we had an awesome guy Alan, who's like a local guy. Came as well, and it was really cool to meet and hang out with him. And I set up for 6 players, not necessarily knowing who was even showing up. I knew there was going to be a few players, and I figured, okay, everything's set up. We'll just put the ones back in the box that we're not using. And in Rising Sun, the turn order, the different guys go in an actual turn order. So I had them in the correct order and had everything ready to go. And we actually had the exact number we needed for 6 players. It was really awesome to play with Matt and AJ and Hector. I hadn't seen AJ and Hector in like so long, so it was really
Yeah, it's been a
cool
while.
to get to play a game with them. And I felt like everybody was playing like factions that help like kind of fit like their style of play a little bit. Like AJ played the Fox Clan, and they're all about just like getting in every single combat everywhere. And it just worked great for him. It was just pretty awesome. So it was definitely a lot of fun. 6 players definitely stretches out the downtime. I mean, the downtime isn't that bad, but when the battles are going on, the downtime is pretty rough. But it makes the game a lot longer, but it definitely makes it about as epic as you could possibly get with that game, you know? What did you feel about the length of the game and the downtime, Rob?
I didn't think it was that bad to
Yeah.
be. Now, at the same time, though, we were hanging out with people that we hadn't seen in a little
Yeah.
bit,
We're having
and
fun.
so like I was able to talk and hang out, and I missed part of the rules at the beginning that I later learned about because there was a part where Roy went over this whole section about harvesting, and I was just speaking Spanish to Hector, and not listening to anything he said, and so for the first round, my game plan didn't work because I thought it was something else, and it was like, nope, I went over this in harvesting, and I was like, well, I didn't pay attention, so that was my fault. Um, but I didn't think the combat that was that bad, especially that everybody reveals at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's
And
fun,
you
especially
go
when a
down
lot
the
of people are
track.
into it.
Who won this? Who won this? Who won this? And then you go. So,
There's just
yeah,
a little bit of an opportunity to where if everybody's like ready and everybody doesn't realize that everybody's ready, it's like, wait, did you pick? Okay,
yeah.
reveal it. Just make it happen. Let's do it.
No, but I actually I love the game, and
Yeah.
I loved it even more, especially since I won.
Oh yeah, dude. Speaking of the unknown person talking about you being grouchy, the whole first half of the game, Rob was like, the whole first half, and I'm like, come on, Rob, it's okay. And me and Matt are like trying our best to make Rob like the game. We're like, Rob, you can do this, and you can do this, Rob. You've got a lot of options, Rob.
Yeah.
And then Rob beats us by a ton of points. It wasn't even close. I mean, I was up there, but it was not even close.
I scored 84 points. It wasn't.
I think
so
you were
here's
like almost 20 points ahead of me, which is a lot.
so well, and the board for the board only holds 50 points.
Right.
I almost did it. I almost did it twice.
So yeah, I mean that's a lot because I mean most.
All right,
people
but here's
just
the thing, though.
break right over
So
50.
But here's the thing. So harvest is a big deal in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's certain areas in the board where you can get certain things if you harvest those areas.
And it's
You
a
just have
lot
to have
harder to do that in a 6-player game than it is in the lower player count.
absolutely, because somebody's going to be in your area unless you do it like first move, very first thing you do. Like it's you're going to have to work for it. Well, my idea of harvest, because I did not pay attention, was okay. Whoever has the most people at the end of the round, they get those bonuses. So I stacked up heavy in my home base, and I went to like one little island outside of my home base, and I stacked up heavy in those areas. And I was like, great, I'm going to win these battles, kind of like Blood Rage. I'm going to win these battles, and then I'm going to get these benefits. Like when you win Blood Rage, you can get more rage, or you can get more horns, or you can get more axes. And so that was my thinking. And so I won those battles, and I kind of ended my round. The first round, I was like, all right, so I get all these points, and they're like, "No, you didn't harvest." I'm like, "What do you mean I didn't harvest? I have all this stuff." Um, and that was my misunderstanding. Here's the thing about Rising Sun: if you've never played Rising Sun before, one of the things that I really grew to like about Rising Sun at the end, it makes you move.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to move, but you will not be as successful as if you do move.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go out and don't don't play the game if you are nervous about attacking your buddy. It doesn't matter. It's just the game. It's not going to end your friendship or your marriage. But the game is meant for you to win or lose in a different place every round. Whether you win the battle or not, you have to move. If you don't move, you will lose. At least in my opinion. And so after that, the second and third round, I think I was in 2 or 3 battles each round. Like I came back from what happened in the first round. But that was my understanding. And so it just, at first, because I wasn't paying attention, it just left a sour taste in my mouth. Like, crap, like, well, how do you do all this stuff? Like, this is really annoying. My whole strategy.
I didn't realize Rob didn't necessarily know what was going on, but when he tried to do specific things, I'm like, but Rob, you probably shouldn't do that. You're like, I got this. Yeah, I got this. I'm like, but I don't think you should do that.
Well, and then see, in my head, I was like, well, I have to do that because that's how I'm going to get this stuff. And I didn't realize it had to do with harvesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my clan that I was this clan where I have no money, or I have little money, but everything only costs $1 for me. And so I just
You're like
went
the
monster heavy.
clan, basically.
Oh man. I had monsters out of the wazoo. I think I ended the game with 5 monsters, which that's a lot in that game.
Rob had 5. I had 1. Hector had a couple. Like
Hector had 2.
Matt had a couple. Like
yeah.
Eric Lang said that this game you're not going to have as many monsters on the board. We did do.
We had 11
where we added more
time.
into the thing, but we used the actual rules that let us add more into the thing. We had a ton of monsters all over the board, and I love that. Like, I love all the special abilities it adds and all the craziness it adds for drafting, and just like, you should check out our Instagram for the pictures of when we were playing, because it's like, it just looks so cool with these figures all over the board, and it's just pretty awesome.
It was great. I love the monsters, and just like you said, I like the different powers and the different abilities. Like my clan, I don't want to have a lot of honor, especially with the monsters that I used. It wasn't the clan. The monsters that I was buying, they get benefits if they don't have honor. Like, their guy's worth 1, but if you don't have honor in that area, your guy's worth 3 or he's worth 4. And so I was able to do like this crazy uni combo. But man, I'm really glad I backed Rising Sun. I'm excited for the playmat to come in. And it's just a gorgeous game.
After the first time I played it, I was like, there was a ton of hype around Rising Sun when it was on Kickstarter and when it was coming out and when people were playing it. And for me, I mean, I feel like it meets the hype, you know? Like, I feel like the hype is deserved.
I agree. And I also really like the whole alliance aspect of it. Like,
oh yeah, that's a lot of fun too.
Let's alliance, but then at the same time, you start to see your partner in the alliance do really well. Like, at one point, you were aligned with that friend of yours who came over.
Yeah, Alan.
And towards the end of the round, you were like, "Hey guys, I need you to attack."
I was in an alliance with him, but I didn't want him to do good anymore. I'm like,
you were telling everybody, like, "Okay, guys, stop it." I mean, I love that because you can break.
Next time, I was like, I don't want to ally with him because I don't want to help him out in any way, you know.
But then at the end, you guys had to ally together because nobody else allied with you, and so it's kind of like, all right, we'll ally.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because you're always fighting over different areas, so you kind of like want to make an alliance with someone who's not going for the same thing you're going for, you know.
Yeah, you want to go for somebody on the opposite side, basically, where your armies don't interact,
or try to keep track of which areas which people are getting for, or just talk about it and be like, hey man, where are you going for? If you're not going for here, I'm trying to go there. Maybe we can ally, so we're not going to be in each other's way. that sort of thing.
And if you're gonna betray, you don't have to betray your ally. You're not allied anymore. But I would maybe betray at one of the last moves of the round
That's
because betray is actually
almost
really
the
powerful.
best time to do it because you can make sure you're going to win some battles if you take out the right people.
Absolutely. You get to take out two soldiers like for like,
Yeah.
right? Is it like for like?
Yeah, it's the same type of model for the same type of model. So if you had a monster on the sidelines, you could literally get rid of their monster and put your monster in, which could be a huge point swing depending on the monster.
Oh yeah, and that Godzilla monster is worth 5, and the Godzilla monster's terrible, and I mean terrible in an awesome way because he stays in the water. When you play him down, you don't select the area he goes into. You only declare it when it's time for battle.
Yeah. After Matt played him, I was like, okay, I have to paint this guy up. So I've been painting up the kaiju guy, and I'll be posting pictures of that because I'm putting like water in the base. Like I have like this water stuff that you can put in there and dry. And I actually, it's kind of funny because like on the board, there's like these little Japanese like long ship things. I was like, man, it'd be really cool if he had like a long ship underneath him. So I got modeling clay and I modeled a little long ship and like baked it in the oven and like put that on the bottom. Hopefully it looks okay when it's all said and done. But
post pictures. I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it. The water's still drying on it because that water takes like a day to dry. But I'm really excited about how it's looking so far, and I'm like, this guy has to be painted up just because his ability is so cool, and he was one of my favorite models from the Kickstarter. I'm like, Godzilla's in the game. What?
Well, and the crazy thing is, I don't think Roy ever betrayed.
Oh yeah, I mean,
did you betray at all in the game?
No, I'm pretty sure I ended up like.
Now there's only 3 rounds, and in each round you only have 1 chance for betrayal. So that means like Roy would only have, or your average person would only have.
But
3
I also had the
chances to
faction
betray.
where like no matter the tiles I was given, I could betray if I wanted to. You know.
Yeah, your faction was you could make any tile be whatever you wanted it to be, regardless. That was pretty powerful because there were times we were like, "Hey, Roy, make it this,
All
make
the
it this."
special abilities are really good. They're just really good in different ways, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. I'm excited to get it to the
so
table.
the hard question.
Are you taking it?
Yeah, for sure.
Saturday to Recon?
I'm taking so many games. Yes, I'm definitely taking Rising Sun. So the big question, Rob.
Okay.
Rising Sun and Blood Rage.
Don't ask.
So
different.
I know you've only played Rising Sun once, and a lot of people have like asked me this question over and over again. Like, what are your thoughts on the comparison in between the two, and how are your feelings towards them?
Okay. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. I love them both.
I feel kind of the same way.
Now, here's the thing. Like, definitely, I have more love towards Blood Rage because I've played Blood Rage a lot more, and I still enjoy Blood Rage. My only problem that I have with Blood Rage is like, please make more Blood Rage. Just card upgrades or something. Like, I absolutely love Blood Rage. But Rising Sun doesn't feel necessarily the same as Blood Rage. Like, and we talked about this when we played. You know, one of the things about Blood Rage is kind of after the first round, you can kind of get an idea of what everybody's going to do in the game and kind of map it out because you can sort of tell by the draft what kind of strategy they're going to go for, especially after you've played the game a lot. But on Rising Sun, with all the negotiating and the way that your turns happen, because see, you get a stack of tiles, you have to take the top 4 tiles, and you only get to pick one of those for your turn. And so you sort of know what's coming after you because you've seen 3 of the 4 tiles they're going to choose, but it's not like a draft. It's not. I mean, you're at the mercy of the tiles. You're at the mercy of the cards that come down. I don't know. I like the negotiating and the player interaction better in Rising Sun.
I feel like the player interaction and like how much you can affect the other players is like a lot higher in Rising Sun because the things your opponents do can definitely mess up your strategies like hardcore.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love them both, and I don't know. I don't know. I can't say one's better than the other
because they're both so good. It makes it really hard.
Well, that and they both scratch a different itch for me. Like with Blood Rage, I just want to like blow up stuff. Like,
I felt bad because someone on Instagram asked me that question. They're like, "Which is better, Rising Sun or Blood Rage?" and I kind of gave my thoughts on, hey, I like Blood Rage because of this, and hey, I like Rising Sun because of this, but I'm not necessarily going to say Rising Sun is better. And then they're like, oh, well, then I'm not going to worry about Rising Sun. And I'm like, I mean, they're both like Blood Rage is in my like top 10 of all times. I don't know where Rising Sun is, but it's going to be super close to that same area. Like, that means it's an amazing game. So it's like, don't just discount it just because don't immediately say Rising Sun's strictly better than Blood Rage. Blood Rage is really good.
Oh yeah, there's no strictly better. I mean, it's trying to compare like a romantic movie with an action movie. It's different. It's different. It's not the same. They're both movies that both have character, sure, but it's the same. It's not the same. Granted, Rising Sun and Blood Rage both have action, but it's the same, but it's not the same. I guess the best thing to do is everybody
like
that has those questions,
cause,
come play with us. Come play with us, and we'll show you what we're talking about. They're both phenomenal games. I really enjoyed both of them. I want to play Rising Sun again, and I'm at the point in my life where I don't think I'm going to turn down a Blood Rage game. Now, eventually, Blood Rage, years down the road, may get old, and there'll be a new game that I'm like, all right, I'll play that. But yeah, they're both really good games. That's a tough question.
So technically, right now, we tied kind of in Blood Rage. I technically have never like lost a game of Blood Rage, but I've definitely never won a game of Rising Sun. I've done terrible every game. I did pretty good the game we played, but still did not win any games of Rising Sun.
I wouldn't say though that we tied because Sam, we were at the Dice Tower event, and one of the Dice Tower main co-hosts said it had to come down to an arm wrestling match.
I don't think his word is law, so whatever.
It's Sam Healy. When you have your
also,
own
how about
mini
we pick
in a
something
game,
that we're on an even footing with at least?
You're strong. You're strong. I mean,
no.
Listen, he has his own miniature made after him. What he says is kind of a lot. Like,
but he wouldn't let us play with that one, so whatever.
Well, and I get that. You know, he didn't want it to show off or show favoritism or anything like that. And I will say this though, I really like the rule that he did with the gods.
Switching them out
every round, switching them out. I love that. Like the next time I play Blood Rage, I want to play like that.
I'm excited to see all the extra stuff in Rising Sun because I mean, we haven't scratched the full potential of the game. We still have all the kami and all the different monsters, and
we never got out
sets of the season cards. There's a lot of variety in there.
There were a bunch of gods that you had on the sideline that we never pulled out either.
Right. Yep. There's a lot of stuff that you can switch in and out for Rising Sun to make it completely different each time you play.
And same with Blood Rage. I mean, there's things that you can add, and just great games.
So awesome, man. Well, we talked about that for forever. What about the other game that you've been playing?
Bro, so this week I got to play Stuffed Fables with my family. Stuffed Fables is a 1 to 4 player game where you are a Fluffy and you are trying to protect a little girl's dreams after her first night in the big girl bed. The story is very heavily narrative. A lot like Mice and Mystics, where you're going to be doing a lot of reading, and then it's like Mice and Mystics meets Tales of the Arabian Nights, where while you're reading, there are choices that you have to make while you're reading that tells you to turn to certain cards or turn to certain pages in the book, and so that was a lot of fun. I don't want to give away a lot after the first because there's certain decisions you can make that will affect where you go and what page you turn to in the game. But I will say this. The game is almost too easy to learn. It actually had me nervous after our third round because I was like, man, like we're really getting this. This is going really good. I'm used to screwing up on the rules.
Basically, the rules are just like on the side of the page almost, right?
Yeah, and what's also great is in the rule book, they have a QR code. You can scan it with your phone, and it immediately takes you to a Watch It Played video with Rodney, and he goes over that specific part of his Watch It Played video. So he's got like a full 30-minute video of how to play, but when you scan the code, it shows you that specific like 1 minute
timestamp right there.
You're right awesome. There. It takes you right to it, and it's like, here's how you set up this. Here's how you do this.
That's amazing.
I loved it. My daughter, now her reading level my wife and I, we did the majority of the reading. My daughter's 5. I mean, her reading level is it's not terrible, but again, she's 5, and there's some like big words in there for a 5-year-old and stuff like that. But she loved it. In fact, she's asking me all the time, "Daddy, can we play Stuffed Fables again this week?" Her character is Floppy. Floppy is the bunny who's got the one bent over ear.
Nice.
Um,
Which one do you
and
play?
she wanted me to pick the elephant, so I'm Lumpy. I'm Lumpy. She was Floppy, and my wife, I think she's Theodora, who is the teddy bear with the sword. Um, but what's also really cool, so the minis are gorgeous. The game comes with dice, and you put the dice in a bag. And for your turn, you're going to draw 5 dice. And based on the dice that you draw is also going to depend on your actions and also the enemy actions. So you're going to put in 1 black dice and 1 white dice for every player plus 1. So we played with 3, so we had to put in 4 black dice and 4 white dice. If you roll white dice, if you match or exceed your number of fluff, then you can get a fluff. But on the black dice, that's how the bad guys move. And so if nobody draws any black dice, then the bad guys just don't get a turn. Or if you have 3 bad guys out and you only draw 2 black dice, then they don't get a turn because they have to meet or exceed the amount of dice. And so that was kind of fun because my daughter, she's like peeking into the bag, but, not peeking into the bag. And she's getting all excited, like, I hope I don't draw the black dice. And certain dice do certain things, but you can also use them universally. Like the red dice is for your melee combat. Your green dice is for your range combat. The purple dice is like the wild card. But there's certain scenarios, like we're in this one scenario where we're trying to get on a train, and I won't go too much into it, but we're trying to get on a train, and if we used any other dice outside of green, we would take 1 damage for every area we moved without using a green die. And so just because you get a red die for melee doesn't mean you can only use that dice for melee. What's also cool is you can like store dice. So like on your player card, there's a little area where you can store dice and take it with you from round to round.
Yeah.
Or use it in case like something comes up and you need a certain color. But it was a lot of fun. It is, to me, it's definitely a family game. My wife enjoyed it. My daughter enjoyed it. We're excited to play again.
By family game, do you think it's a game that you really should play with children, or what do you think about if someone wanted to play this with their game group? Would they be able to make it happen, or you think it's really best in that like parent-child or sort of situation?
I think anybody can enjoy the game. I just think that the game, I mean, the very first scenario of the game is you are helping, the Stuffies are helping the little girl transition from a crib to a big girl bed. And so it has a lot to do with like small child scenarios and issues. Now, there are some people who may not have children, but they like, kid-themed games anyway. Check it out. Give it a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. I just think you're also going to find that the game is pointed towards, I think, in my personal opinion, parents playing with their kids. But like, for example, somebody like Ambi, I could see Ambi playing the game and loving the game. One, she's like a big Disney fan. She likes that childlike style game. I know she's excited to play it. I could see Ambi totally winning and liking and enjoying the game. I say that also because I've had a chance to meet Ambi, and it's weird. Outside of 18XX games, she's all about like Disney and other stuff, and she likes a variety of games. But I could see her enjoying the game. There are a couple people, like for example, like if we were to just play with, like, let's say we're to play with Ryan and Hector, and it was just like just me, you, Ryan, and Hector. I don't know if we would enjoy it as much. But the funny thing is, though, I think AJ would enjoy it because he now has his niece that he's spending a lot of time with, and I think he would enjoy it because he'd be like, oh my gosh, I could see my niece really liking this. I could see her going out there, and so it all just depends on you and your personality. If you like childlike or kid stuff, kid themed stuff, I say give it a whirl. If you have kids, I like the idea of this more than I liked Mice and Mystics. And so I'm really excited to play it. And I will say this, freaking Plaid Hat Games, they hit it out of the park with the components on this
Oh
one.
yeah,
The
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 miniatures look great.
the miniatures are gorgeous. And they're so smooth and they're so nice and clean and crisp. Like they're not trying to make it anything special. The toys look like stuffed toys. The bad guys look like bad guys. Like it's so cute. It's such a pretty game, and I love how they're using um, the full complexity of the book. Meaning, like there's not an item wasted. Like the box, it's a full box. You're not going to have like a lot of wasted space in the box. I love how like when you open up the book, your map that you're playing in is on your left, and your rules and your scenarios on your right. And I'll give this other tip, and then we can move on. But don't get stuck on your little map area because there may be something on the right that you're going to read. Or, for example, that train thing. If we get on the train, go to this page. If we miss the train and need to chase it down, go to this page. And so it's one of those
It's
games where
branching.
yeah, it branches. And so like don't feel like you're doing something bad if you're not going in order. Because you're not supposed to go in order. You're supposed to tell your story
Mhm.
and what really happened. And man, just a, I don't know. Like I'm excited to play it. And my daughter, like I was telling her when I ordered it, like, hey baby girl, we got this. We got your first. I'm calling it her first big kid game, her first big girl game, where like it's not just a Haba game. And I love Haba. I'm not trying to
Mhm.
count anything against that, but like this is a game with choices and decisions, and we're letting her make a lot of choices, and there are a couple of choices she made that I would not have expected her to make, and that's fun as a father to see my daughter, grow and develop, and like, you think your kids, and it's like, oh hey, do we want to go save these people and get 10 points, or do we want to run over there and save these people and get like 4 points? And her reasoning is, well, these people really need a lot of help, but baby, we're not going to get as much. That's fine. These
Yeah.
people really need a lot of help. It's like it's it's nice to be able to just see them make these decisions and grow with it. So I'm excited as a dad, and my wife is excited too, because like now, granted, for my wife, because she's not a gamer in the narrative, she's more like, okay, come on, like let's play type of a thing. But because we see my daughter enjoying the game and getting into the game, like we're both excited to play with her
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to bring it back to the table. It will come to the table again this week.
I
Like
feel
we'll,
like I
we'll
should
play another.
probably prioritize this above Batman Kickstarter for my kids.
Oh, and the price point,
Yeah, yeah. It's
um,
gonna be
it,
pretty solid.
it is solid. And what's great about like your kids in your scenario, and same thing with my scenario, I've got a 5-year-old, and
They're right at
uh,
that age that it's like hitting at.
well, and also I've got a 6-month-old, and you have your what? Scotty's 4 or 5.
Scotty is 5 and my daughter is 3.
So like by the time Scotty's maybe done with it, Violet will be on board and ready to play.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so I don't know. It's cute. If you got kids, check it out. Watch the reviews. Watch people playing online. If you don't know if you're gonna like it, but from one parent to another, we're really enjoying it.
Hype. Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Well, even though we sound like a repeat of last week of what we've been playing, it was basically the same games we talked about last week.
But
But
they're so good. Well,
so
I didn't
good.
talk about Stuff Fables last week, but freaking Rising Sun is good.
Yeah.
And it's good if we're playing it multiple weeks in a row.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, come on.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and get into our topic. We're going to be talking about conventions. So I know we've talked about this a bunch of times with me and you, Rob, but what are some of the conventions you have gone to? And feel free to mention all the tiny little ones you've gone to as well.
Okay. I have gone to Gen Con. I've gone to Cool Mini or Not Expo. I've gone to International Tabletop Day, like the big national meetup. I've gone to Dice Tower Con. I've gone to Mega Moose Con. No, I've gone to Mega Moose Con. I've gone to Roy Con, where Roy actually had a con at his house, and we played games. I've gone to I did not go to Recon. I will be going to Recon this weekend. I've gone to Mace. Um, I've gone to other like local comic book cons and like movie and superhero cons and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, that's the only ones that are coming to me right now. I probably missed several, but
Yeah, for me it's pretty much the same ones. You have the big ones like Gen Con and I mean Dice Tower's not as big, but Dice Tower and stuff like that. And then we have several local conventions with Mega Moose and Mace, and I know like there's tons of just local conventions all over the place. There's another one called like Congregate, which is supposed to be more like sci-fi, but when I went there, it was just about board games. So
yeah.
whenever I go to these different conventions, it's like, okay, where's the board game scene here? What's going on? But yeah, I remember going to Mace like a long time ago, like a really long time ago, when I wouldn't have even considered myself like a hobby board gamer. I was more into like D&D and Magic and stuff, and I remember going there and playing like Munchkin and stuff like that, which is actually kind of embarrassing to say that I went to a con and sat there and played Munchkin. But I played Munchkin and then picked up another game called Gosu, which is like Goblin Supremacy, and like learned how to play that. I literally picked up the game from their board game library and I'm like, this looks cool, and I sat there and read the rules until we learned how to play it, and then we played the game together. It was just like, that was actually a really bad idea. Because I remember struggling through that game. But yeah. But yeah, so lots of interesting conventions. Do you think there's a difference between local conventions as opposed to the larger ones?
Sure, absolutely. The big difference to me would be the retail side of it.
Yeah, the
On a
publisher
big
presence.
yeah, on a big national convention or even statewide convention, like a Mace. Like Mace is a pretty decent sized convention for the state of North Carolina. They have, I know Cool Mini or Not always sets up a booth there. Now it's not like the full like Eric Lang is not coming to Mace. He may, but I don't believe he has yet. But like you have different retailers and stuff there. And on the local cons, it's more of like a flea market type of retail situation where, I'm going to sell my games rather than like a big retailer. And it's more like pack and play. Let me bring a bunch of games and play them there. The more and more I play board games, the more and more I'm liking the local feel over the big feel.
Because you're more about playing the games at these things than
like
spending all your pennies.
Well, here's
and
the
not
thing.
being able to play the things that you just bought.
Well, like Gen Con. I've enjoyed Gen Con. I've had a great time every time I've gone to Gen Con. But if I never go to Gen Con again, okay. There's two things right now in my mind that would bring me back to Gen Con. First, meeting fans, meeting friends, and playing with people there, which is hard to do at Gen Con. It's actually hard unless you want to get a table after midnight, which for me doesn't happen that often because I'm usually in line like at 7:30 in the morning, and so like I need to get a little bit of sleep. Or the food, bro. Those habanero cheese sticks, I'd go back to Indy for those. Like we had some awesome food. And then Brandon Pleshik last time we were there, getting to spoon with Brandon and him bringing like the cheese curds from Wisconsin and stuff. So like the food and friends. The thing that bothers me about Gen Con, and I'm only using Gen Con in particular.
That's basically the biggest strictly board gaming convention on this side of the hemisphere.
But here's the thing, though.
This side of the globe.
A lot of the games that like get announced at Gen Con or get released at Gen Con outside of Asmodee North America, because they don't do Kickstarters. Outside of Asmodee North America, most of those games getting released, I've either pre-ordered or Asmodee North America, I have pre-ordered, or I've already paid for them on Kickstarter. Like Blood Rage. When Blood Rage came out, I had already Kickstarted it, and my copy came in a couple months later, and it came with even more. But like the need to get it first Like,
You'll get it first and more expensive.
yeah, and so like, because Gen Con, there's really not a lot of room unless they changed it when they added in the stadium. I went there the first
Oh
year
no,
that they
it's
had the
packed.
stadium 2 years ago, but first of all, I'm not going to walk all the way over to the stadium just to sit down and play with a couple friends who are still in the exhibit hall because the thing is so huge. Like you want to try to play where everybody can meet up. And I had a blast with Emerson and stuff. Like I'd go for friends, but I'm not going to go there to try to get the games that I already have. I'd rather go
Yeah.
to a local convention so we can all play because I have fun. Like my best memory of Gen Con is playing board games with Emerson. Like when we did that night and played Secret Hitler, like that was such a blast. And
Oh
me
yeah, for sure.
videotaping you guys sleeping at night with all the snoring and me making like that Blair Witch video. Um, like I love that. Like that those are my memories, but I feel like I could get those memories at like a CMON Expo or
Yeah,
at a Dice Tower Expo, not so much at a Gen Con.
because you're more about the people and not necessarily about the stuff.
Well, yeah, like because I'm gonna get this stuff regardless. So whether I order it online or whether I get it from your booth, I really don't care. I'm patient enough to wait 2 to 4 days for shipping. That's fine. Or Kickstarter. But I want to hang out with my friends.
Mhm.
Like I want to play games with my friends. I don't want to stand in line or get pushed around or wait for a table. That was like the one thing I had
And
against CMON last year is
Gen Con itself actually like fights against you being able to do that. There's so many people, it just makes it hard to do the things you want to do.
so many. Yeah, unless you go like late at night when a lot of the
Yeah.
venues are shut, and they're still doing tournaments all throughout the night. Like it's crazy at Gen Con, the amount of people. But I'd like that's what I loved about Dice Tower Con. Like
Literally, it's
it's
just
open
days of just
24/7.
playing games.
The exhibit hall is open till 6 p.m. And then after that, all the exhibitors just get out and go play games. Like we played games with Josh from Gray Fox. We got to hang out with some of the other exhibitors and retail people there. And then we got to hang out with just like our friends. And we went out to eat. We played games at the restaurant. We came back from the restaurant. We played more games. We just hung out. I mean, that's what I want. That's what I'm looking for in a con.
Yeah. It's funny because Dice Tower Con feels like it's formatted like a smaller, like local convention, but there's a lot of people that attend and go, you know? So it's all about playing games. You have a small little area that you can buy some stuff from a few different publishers and things like that, and people showing off a little bit of stuff over in the corner, but it's mostly just like open area to play, which is amazing. For me, Gen Con, like, as a just gamer, like board gamer, or someone who even want to just check out board game stuff, I mean, after going to Gen Con, I went 3 times now, I think. After going to Gen Con 3 times, I don't know that I would go if it wasn't for like board game media stuff. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
my main reason for going to Gen Con is, I mean, it's cool because like everybody is there, like all the people are there. There's tons of people there. You
But
get
they
to
are
see,
so busy though.
right. So literally everybody's there, and it's cool to see all the people. But all you can do is give them a passing high five and say hi to them. So
Or
that's
you have to schedule an interview.
right. Or you have to schedule an interview,
'Cause
and
they're
when you do
working-
that, they're still rushed. Like
Yeah.
they still don't have time to like hang out at all. So it's kind of interesting because there's so many people that you want to spend time with and want to spend time with you, but none of you can make any of your schedules work. So the main reason I would go for the media stuff is to just get scoops and be able to take pictures for people and be like, oh, check out this new game, because a lot of people are showing off their brand new games there. And you can get a few demos in of like games that are going to come out in like 3 months or 4 months from now.
But you're only going to play one round.
Right, you're only
because
gonna play
there's
one
literally
round.
a line of people behind you.
Right, so even as a just board gamer, that's not really that great of an experience. As a media person, it's kind of interesting because then I can come on here and tell you
Gives
guys
you
my
plenty of
thoughts of the
content.
stuff
Yeah.
and be like, hey, this and that. So mostly, like, I go to Gen Con to help create content for the podcast and to I mean, network a little bit and become a little bit more friends with a few more people and get a little bit of hangout time, but it's not nearly as much like just straight up. It's exciting and intense, but as far as like just the fun and the game playing, it just doesn't happen there.
I'm with you. I'd rather.
But
Yeah, I forgot about the like. I was talking about Gen Con as like a fan. Yeah, but from like a media point of view, like yeah, you do get a lot of content at Gen Con. And don't get me wrong, like a lot of
My
people that
Instagram
listen to
feed
the
just goes
show.
crazy.
Well, like a lot of our fans, what is nice about Gen Con is that it is so big, it's going to attract a lot of people.
Mhm.
So, like, I've met several people that are friends and fans of the show at Gen Con. You get to pass out the buttons, pass out the dice, give the hugs, shake the high fives, or shake the hands and stuff. So it is fun. But I'm just as a board gaming fan, I'm with you
Mm,
with what you said and what I said. So.
nice. So what do you think about local conventions compared to these bigger ones?
Um, I am I'm a fan if they're run well.
Yeah, yeah,
Because it's just like it's to me a local con is basically an all-out epic game day
yeah, yeah.
because that's really what it is. Unless you're starting to get like big retailers or something, you are providing a venue for everybody to get together and you make sure food's there. That's really it. Get out of the way. If somebody wants to do RPG, let them do an RPG. If they want to play these games, let them play those games. Have a library. And granted, for the people that are working it, I mean, they are working it because there's still going to always be people that have questions or break
Yeah.
something or need something. Um, but yeah, it's just I like the local cons because then I can also bring the games that I want to play. And you've seen me do this at cons before. I'll just stand up in the middle of the room and I'll just shout, "Who wants to play X with me?"
Yeah, yeah.
And within minutes, my table's full. If not minutes, seconds, my table's full, and we're playing. Because I don't care. Like, I want to meet new people. If you're an introvert, great. If you're an extrovert, great. If you're short, tall, white, black, purple, alien, non-alien, I don't care. Let's just play. I just want to play and
Traitor,
have fun.
betrayer, Cylon. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, because the thing, like, when I'm playing at a con, I don't care so much about winning. I only care when it comes to like you and Matt and Trevor, because it's like okay, because like we play a lot together, and it's like no, screw you. I'm so sick and tired of these guys winning. I want to win a game. But when I'm playing with brand new people, I'm all about that experience. I'm all about the laughs and the get to know. I'm all about making friends.
Yeah, yeah.
And then once I become a friend, that's when I'm going to try to destroy you and beat you and stuff like that. But in the process of becoming friends, let's just hang out. Let's high five shake or shake the high five. Um, as James, yeah, that is a good T-shirt idea.
So what do you think you would expect from the first time going to a convention?
First time going to a convention, it depends on the size of convention. For a small convention, I would tell you to bring a couple of your favorites. Also, a
I
couple
would
of
actually suggest going to one of the smaller ones first before trying to go to one of the crazy big ones because there's a
I,
lot of board game conventions, like local conventions to everybody, like all over the place. I see them popping up everywhere.
and if you don't know where to look on Meetup. Check the Meetup app out. And then you'll find a group, and typically that group, especially if it's a decent size, they'll do something for tabletop day, or they'll be able to tell you, yeah, this place an hour or two away does a local convention. But for a local convention, bring money for food and bring some games that you and your friends are okay with playing, and also bring some games that you're okay to teach or you feel comfortable teaching. So if you want to play with new people, local convention literally is just it's a big game day where you don't know everybody. That's how I feel. It's just a game day at Roy's, but I don't know everybody that's there. So I'll introduce myself and let's play games. Now, a big con, if you're going to a big con, like let's just say Gen Con,
Hmm.
I would tell you to definitely get some good sleep the night before Gen Con starts. Pack snacks at Gen Con. Don't bring any of your games, especially if you plan on, well, don't bring games into the convention if you plan on buying games, because a place like Gen Con, it gets so packed, your bag will be pushed. You will
Yeah,
be
yeah.
bumped into. You will constantly being hit. And so if you're also, because it is huge, the monstrosity of Gen Con, I love it. I love that it's huge. I love all the people. I feed off of their electricity.
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. But you're going to be carrying a lot of stuff for a long time. And so if you're bringing your own games in and then you plan on buying stuff, first of all, you're going to be walking for hours just to find a space. And then like that gets annoying and old. I'd also tell you, and this is not to be mean, this is just my opinion, and to my friend listening, you can get over this part. I'd ask I'd ask you to shower. I'm not trying to be rude, but basic hygiene, please. Basic hygiene for local or big conventions.
Or life in
Just
general.
or life in general. Just basic hygiene. Also, make sure your clothes fit. Make sure your shirts are long enough. I've run into that myself sometimes. You get the plumber's crack, or you get the sale on the really cool logo shirt, but it's 3 sizes too small. You don't need to be wearing that shirt. Type of a thing. Um, but yeah, just I don't know. Big con hygiene. Make sure you know what you're signing up for. If you're trying to buy a game, stretch the night before, stretch that morning because you will have to run, aka speed walk.
Yeah, there's certain hot games at Gen Con and that's another thing that's crazy about Gen Con. It's all about the retail and the buying stuff, but it's so hard to even get the stuff you want. Just like, what?
Yeah.
Why are we even here?
So anyway,
Nice, awesome, good tips. Good tips. I agree with all of those. Um, cool. So let's just say, what are some experiences you've had at conventions? So we like to talk about the stories and relationships on this podcast. Let's talk about some crazy experiences we've had at conventions.
well, you want to start, or I've got a handful right up. So I will start with one of our listeners actually.
Mm-hmm.
We were at CMON last year, and so we were scheduled to play Timothy Gay, Blood Rage, that day. And Adam Sparks was like, "Hey guys, I've got family in Atlanta. I'm going to be in town this day. Would love to see you guys. Blah blah blah." And so like we were messaging with Adam back and forth, type of thing. Like, "Hey guys, I'm here at the con. I'm wearing this shirt. You're wearing this shirt." Type of a thing. But it was crazy because it was almost like love at first sight. It was weird. I knew who Adam was just by his eyes, and I never met him before in my life. But like, I saw Adam, and I was like, "That's Adam Sparks," and I got like all excited. And then he made eye contact with me, right? And it was just like, "Oh my gosh!" And so like we met up with each other, gave each other like a big hug just off the bat, like, "Hey, you don't know who I am, I don't know who you are, but let's just hug." And we did. Like, we had a blast. And then on top of that, so after meeting Adam within like maybe 10 minutes, I think before Blood Rage, got Stephen Avery to teach us how to play his game Tada, which is the stupidest, funnest, quick, fast party game.
That was fun.
That was just so much fun, just to like, "Oh, hey Adam, how you doing? Oh my gosh, this is freaking Adam Sparks," and like introduce, we're not introduced, but like show Adam where you guys were all at, because I think I was the first one that met him of the group. And then because Steven was there, and I was playing other games with Stephen Avery and my other friend who will not be named. I was playing games with him.
Did he say not to mention his name on the podcast?
I'm not going to mention his name on the podcast.
He's betrayed you.
Oh, well, because see, here's the thing. He thought I was a little diva at CMON because I got to play some games with like Avery and some other people. And he's like, "Oh, you just left me." I did not leave you, bro. I've got a job to do. I'm also like in the board game media a little bit. Like, I've got to go play with these other people. And so anyway, I love him to death. I really do love him to death. And he'll probably call me later this week when he listens to this on Thursday. Like, "Hey man," either listens on Thursday or he'll watch the YouTube video. But anyway, so playing with Adam and Steven, that was an amazing experience at a con. Not my favorite, and nothing against Adam. I mean, I've talked about my favorite on here several times, but still a great experience.
There's so many great ones. Like, I mean, that's one of the big things is the cool things that conventions can bring together people that like you meet online or from different things, and then getting a chance to like interact with them.
Yeah.
I remember the very first Gen Con I went to the Secret Cabal meetup, and that was the very first time I had met Brandon Pleshik. I met him there. I met the draft mechanic, Jake and Danielle. I met them there, and then immediately after that, Rodney Smith and then were playing Codenames, and Codenames had like just come out at that Gen Con, so I hadn't had a chance to play it before. And so they're like, "Oh, come play Codenames with us." I was like, "Oh, okay." We're playing with Rodney Smith, and this was when like we just started the podcast. Nobody knew who we were. Nobody knew anything. I think.
Didn't you guys play in a bar?
Yeah. We were at the same place that it was when you went, so it was just as packed in there and stuff like that.
Okay.
It was insane. But it was set up a little bit different when we were there that time. But we were playing, and I remember playing with Rodney Smith, and I was just like, for some reason, it was just like, oh man, we're playing with these people that you only see on the YouTube videos and things like that. And we're playing, and the game has like an assassin, and currently Rodney was running his like Indiegogo campaign for fundraiser, and someone was like, hey man, Pep is his co-host, he's like, if you just randomly pick a thing and get it right, I'll donate $200 to your Indiegogo right now. He's like, he didn't have any clues to go off of, but he had a bonus guess. He was just gonna randomly pick a bonus thing, and so he's like, okay, let's do it. And he's like, oh, don't mess this up, blah, blah. And they do it, and the one he touches there's barely, this is like the very beginning of the game. The one he touches is the assassin out of all the cards that are there. And just like, what are the odds? Like, what are the chances that the one he touches was the assassin? And for some reason, it was just so memorable at the time, and it was just a lot of fun playing that game, because we were playing Codenames, but there was literally like 20, 25 people playing Codenames. There were just people who just decided they were on either side and helping out with that side when they were guessing. It's like, okay, it's the red team. Well, I'm helping out the red team, so we're helping out, because they were standing on this side of the board and those people were standing on that side of the board, so everybody was helping out together. But I was one of the people that was sitting down at the table with everybody else, so it was a lot of fun. Yeah, there's just so many. There's so many. Do you have another one you want to talk about, Rob?
Oh my goodness! So, also that same Gen Con that you were talking about, because I actually had to leave that Gen Con early. That happened that Saturday night. I left that Saturday afternoon. I had some work and stuff going on, but that Gen Con and the following Gen Con, but that Gen Con, when we're big fans of Emerson Matsuuchi, and we're like, I think Spectre Ops just came out. Now I brought him my copy. I was like, hey, will you please sign my copy? And he's like, yeah, that's so great. And like Rory and I walked off, and we were like, oh my gosh, I can't believe,
we were standing in the middle of the plaid hat booth. I have a picture. Like, I took a selfie of me and you standing in the plaid hat booth, and I'm like, this selfie was taken like minutes before Emerson walked up to us. Every time I see that selfie, I remember that.
Oh, and then all of a sudden he walks up to us and he's like, hold on, I listened to you guys' show. I was like, what? Get out of town. Because like at the time, we were a really small show. Like, for anybody I wasn't even listening to our show at that time. For anybody to be listening to our show and to have Nazca Games himself, Emerson, listening to the show, that blew my mind. I absolutely loved it. But then I think it was the following year with Emerson and Secret Hitler. Now, that Gen Con was outside of the nostalgia of being my first Gen Con, because I had a blast my first Gen Con. Now, that wasn't with you. That was with my buddy who shall not be named and two other guys. We went on it wasn't impromptu, but it wasn't really well planned or organized. We went on a trip, and we had so much fun. We almost got shot. Not shot, but like this lady was calling the cops because she thought she was getting robbed at a gas station. The guys that came with us bought like 4-month-old milk, like past the due date, and just throwing up, and then we had a blast. But this Gen Con that I'm talking about, with Hector and Matt and Brandon and you, when we're all crammed into this room, we had so much fun at that Gen Con with Secret Hitler. I know you don't like that game, but like in the room between Matt being like, all right, guys, so we and the fascists, never mind, let's just start over. And then playing Secret Hitler again later that night with Emerson, and having one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life yell at one of your friends. It was, I'm not going to say it was beautiful to watch, but it was amazing. Because I never would have guessed in a million years that Emerson would have got up and been like, you beep, 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 Bob, I know you, shut your mouth, I know you're a fascist. That was so amazing. And so hanging out with Emerson and hanging out with you guys at that con and just the games and playing with Brandon. I got to actually hang out a lot with Brandon. I didn't realize how much of like a hardcore rocker he is, and he's in a
Oh yeah.
band, and his dad's business, and we went out and we had dinner several times together as a group. That was a lot of fun. And that's also when Pokemon Go was going on, and you and Brandon were going crazy with Pokemon Go. And I remember there was a Gen Con booth where like they were advertising, come to this booth. There's like a X and X whatever animal there.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
They killed
So
that game. They murdered
real
it.
quick, to those that are in the chat that are asking about my book, it's actually not dead. There's actually some exciting things that are going on with my novel. It's just can't really talk too much about it right now, but we will hear more later in the year, and I'm excited for a new idea that I'll be writing on real soon. But yeah, the writing is not dead. It means a lot to me that you asked about that, James. It's not dead. It's still going. Still very excited for that. So, do you have? I mean, I've got more. I've even got like local. Like the very first time I met you was at like a local con.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You want to talk about
that was
that?
close like in December or whatever, right?
Yeah, that was like a mini mace.
That was pretty awesome. And then we did an actual. I think that was like a thing that Brandon Ellis had put together, and then Mini Mace was like shortly after that, because that was in December, and then Mini Mace was in like February or January or something after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of awesome games. I mean, we met playing. Uh, you like stepped in for
within
Trevor,
minutes,
right?
I stepped in for Trevor, and within 5 minutes of meeting you, I was already yelling at you. We were playing Sheriff of Nottingham, and he didn't even give me a chance. So when I play Sheriff of Nottingham, I like to negotiate. I like to do crazy deals just off the bat. And so I put my stuff in, and I was about to like offer him money not to open up my bag. And it's like, oh, hey, man, I'm Robert. Hey, listen, here's the deal. And he's like, oh, pop. Crap, what, pop? You can't pop? You can't open it up, pop? Like, you can't do. Because in Sheriff of Nottingham, as soon as you hear that pop noise on the bag, it's done. You can't go back. It's a done deal. And so I was like, no.
I think like I think you were. I was doing really good in the game, and I think you were like in second or something like that. And
I
the
was
amount you
close.
said wasn't a high number of items. You're like,
No,
hey man,
Roy,
there's a couple
I didn't
of
even
things.
get to. Yeah, I just
And
told you because that's what
I'm
you have
just
to do.
telling you
You tell
like
them what's in
my
the
mind
bag.
thought. So it's coming around, and like you're like, oh, this is a couple, whatever. And I'm just like, if he's telling the truth, I mean, I'll just take the hit. That's fine. So I was like, but he's not telling the truth. So there's no way.
I was not. It was like I think full of contraband.
Yeah. So I was just like, I mean, I'm not gonna let this happen. God. I was like, I actually thought this was gonna be like hardcore just to do this to this guy. I was like, yeah, what then?
Well, I'm glad you thought about it and then still did it. That just tells you who Roy Kennedy is. Like, yeah, I don't know this guy. This could really wreck him. I don't care. Open the bag.
I mean, no, I mean, I literally was like, he's in second place. I'm doing pretty good. He's probably trying to sneak some stuff in to get over on me to like get ahead. So he's probably the most threat. I don't really care about any of these other people's stuff. I'm literally just going to pop this guy's bag open because I'll eat the damage it takes as opposed to letting him get a bunch of contraband in. And that's what happened.
I love that game. Sheriff of Nottingham is
Sadly, we
still
don't
a
play it
favorite
more.
of mine.
I'd love to try out the expansion and stuff like that because it was
Yeah,
always
with
a
the
lot of
Merry
fun.
Men.
I
Yeah.
literally haven't played Sheriff of Nottingham in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. I played with my family for a while. I got them into it, and that was like a holiday special
Yeah.
that we played. The problem with this like industry is like so many good games keep coming out.
Yeah.
It's like, man, and like it's new and it's pretty, and yes, it has that new board game smell, and so it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's just like but anyway, local con stuff, just blast. Just blast. A lot of fun stuff. Do you want to keep going, or do you want to go to the next question?
We can go to the next question. We've been here a bit. So why do you like to go to a convention?
Meet people and get stuff.
Yeah.
Now, big conventions, it's to get stuff. For local and smaller ones, it's just to meet people. Like even at a Mega Moose Con, or even at like a Dice Tower Con. Dice Tower Con is a huge, huge, huge local con. It's the best way to describe it. Like, I don't think I played one game from the board game library at Dice Tower Con. I played games either I brought or other people
Oh
brought.
yeah.
Um, but it's just I go for the people. Like, I go to hang out with friends, and to make new friends. Like Roy. Like, I would have never would have met Roy. Or I don't want to say never, but I met Roy at a local con, playing in a game, and just had a blast. Like that. That's why I go. I go for the memories.
It's kind of interesting, like what you can like learn from people and like how you can understand kind of like the way a person like works just by playing a game with them, you know.
Oh yeah.
So, but like even though our first game we were yelling at each, not yet. I think you were yelling at me more than anything. But even though we were yelling at each other and like messing around with each other, we knew like, oh man, it'd still be fun to like play games with that guy again, you know? Because I mean that's immediately what I thought. I was like, man, Rob was fun to play that game with, even though he's like getting all up in arms. Like he made it fun to play. That
Yeah,
game.
but see, when I get up in arms,
we need to invite Rob over to play some games with us. So
when I got up in arms, it was like obnoxious, like over the top, like silly. Like I wasn't like really mad. I was just like, bro, I can't believe it. Like just fun, silly. Like, how could you do that type of a thing? You know, like I wasn't like really flipping the table or anything like that. And everybody there at the table could tell that. And that's another reason why Roy was like, yeah, he was fun. Like that was fun. So
yeah, for me, the reason I go to convention is because those experiences that we make in those conventions, you know, that I'm always trying to meet new people and like have new relationships and meet other gamers. I really enjoy playing board games, so it's really awesome to like get out there and play board games with a bunch of different people. I always enjoy playing more games with my friends. I enjoy like meeting people that like since we have the podcast now, it's really awesome to like meet people that know us from the podcast and actually get an opportunity to hang out with them and play games. Because it's really cool to like see other people that enjoy games as much as I do. It's really cool to be in that atmosphere. I don't really go to conventions to buy games because I'm very calculated when I actually end up buying a game. It's like, okay, this is what I need and this is the price point I'm looking for it at and all that sort of stuff. The conventions, like, it's always MSRP and it's normally really expensive. So it's like,
yeah,
what am I going to do? How am I going to get it? I do enjoy playing the games, though, that are brand new and fresh. So that way I can figure out if it's a game that's worth like the investment. But I rarely would go around and just buy and grab things. Like if I do buy things at convention, it's normally like an expansion for something I already have that I know that I love, and I'm like, man, I need this expansion for this game because I love this game. Let's get this expansion, you know, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, good stuff. So what do you think it takes to start up a local convention? Because they're super
commitment.
simple.
One, you gotta have a venue.
Mm-hmm.
And two, if you're going to be running it, you also have to be okay if you don't play any games.
Yeah.
Because if it's big enough and you don't have enough help, you will be running around teaching games. Yes, people can read the rules, but a lot of people are also going to have a lot of questions. And so you're not going to run a con and try to play TI4. That's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
you have to enjoy being the host and facilitating gaming as opposed to playing games.
But yeah, just venue, and you need venue, you need food, and you need games. That's really all you need. And then you also need people. Right. And James Fitzgerald, I will not yell at you.
I think you just did.
I will not yell at you, James.
I'm pretty sure you just did.
Flipping James Fitzgerald, I'm not gonna freaking yell at you, James. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Nice. But yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, if you're thinking about man, we don't have a local convention in our area. I really wish I could go to like a local thing or something. Yeah. Maybe look at like starting up a game day of your own and maybe start small, like maybe have it once a year or a couple times a year and invite a bunch of people over and like make sure you have adequate space and adequate tables and everything's good to go and you have the games that people can play and stuff. And people, I mean, it's interesting because like a lot of board gamers have their own games that they want to play. So, yeah. I mean, I feel like in every group there's like your guy who is willing to teach and throw the game on the table. So if you
Oh, yeah.
get several different tables of people that are willing to teach and throw a game on the table, they can kind of like be the leaders for gaming, and you don't necessarily have to do that much work. People just start playing the games around, you know? So, and then if you want it to actually be a convention, find a venue, whether it be a hotel conference room or a church or a
gym
rec
or a
center,
rec center.
or
Yeah.
I've seen ones at like different there's all sorts of different places that you can host them at. Just all you need, it's so simple. All you need is tables and
You
space.
could host it at your house.
Yeah. At least for
Yeah.
like a smaller game day type thing.
For those that are just listening in, though, the audio is not broken. I did yell at James, but it's just because of stuff he's typing in chat. But he's telling me not to yell at him because I know that came out of left field. So if you're listening to the podcast and you're
I
not
think he
watching
said
us,
he's here so that you can yell at me.
I know, and so that's why I did it, just to be funny. But I can only imagine to the people that downloaded, and all of a sudden we're talking about games, and I'm not going to yell at you, James. Like that came out of nowhere. So I'm just explaining to the people
The
listening.
Tourette's happened.
Yes.
You had patron of the week PTSD flashbacks.
It was hitting me, man. I was shaking.
That's awesome. But yeah, if you're interested in starting something like that, like there's tons of resources out there, and I'm sure there's tons of people out there that have their own conventions in their own area that would be like super eager to help you out, start up something on your own, give you tips and things like that. So yeah, definitely get out there and start some game days with a bunch of friends. So
I think that's the best way to start, especially if you are a little bit of an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
Invite people over to your house and host some small groups at your house. And see how you're comfortable with that, because
and running multiple tables or having multiple tables going at the same time.
Yeah, before you try to bite off more than you can chew, and if you do bite off a lot, then get help.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people around. At least there should be plenty of people to help you. And if not, then just come out to North Carolina and we'll play games with you.
Nice. So next question: if you could create your own convention, what would it be like?
Man, for just convention in whole, mine would be a cook-off / board game convention.
Nice.
I don't know. Like I really enjoyed the Dice Tower because it was a lot of fun.
There's not enough food.
No, the Dice Tower had good food because it was we were less than a mile away from Disney World, so we had the strip and stuff there. The only thing about the Dice Tower convention, I'd want better food options on campus.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to
how would your
get in the car and leave.
work for your convention?
Oh, for me, easy. I would take one of the rooms, and I'd put down mats, and I'd have it where you'd have a chili cook-off, you'd have a mac and cheese or grilled cheese cook-off, you'd have hot dog contest, pizza contest. I'd have people come in and rent out space, almost like
It'd be
a
awesome if because a lot of these conventions have raffles or whatever. What if you're like, hey, you like board games, you like cooking food, for the raffles, instead of just doing raffles, we're gonna, because a lot of publishers will donate games for your raffles to help get their games out there and stuff. Or if you're you can win games depending on how good your food is. So you just have all these different categories. Whoever has the best chili can get a stack of games. Whoever has the best mac and cheese can get a stack of games.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. I think that'd be so much fun, and I think it'd be a win-win because board gamers, we like to eat. We do. We're not small. Never mind. I don't want to say that. We're beautiful. But yeah, anyway, just food. If it was my own personal convention, but if it was my own personal convention, it would be a mix of Iron Chef meets San Diego Comic-Con meets Dice Tower Con. And the reason why I say San Diego Comic-Con,
you want all the movie stars there?
Well, not that I want to play games with them, but I'm a big fan of movies, and to see the early trailers, and to get to interview and ask them questions about because I like to write and I like to be creative and other stuff, and so it's not okay, yeah, sure, you're famous, that's fine. What did you do though to get into the mindset and the character of X, and what was your inspiration around Y? Like I like that kind of stuff, and so to have those conversations, that'd be fun. But that would be like my personal ultimate con. But the cons that I go to, they're still great. They're like I don't know. Right now, Dice Tower Con is probably my favorite. The only bad thing about Dice Tower Con is it's like the week of the 4th of July. So that's just tough. Like unless you're planning on making it a vacation for your family. Um, so anyway, we need to do a cabin con. Freaking that'd be fun. Let's do like a because I keep telling Matt and Roy and them to come up to the cabin and do it. You know what? Any of the people in chat, if we ever did a cabin con and you're interested or something like that,
literally just schedule a hard date and make
I
it
did.
happen.
I did, and
that
one day, it was after. It was actually. Remember, we were playing Mega Moose Con last year. We played Rune Wars, where I beat you and Hector at Rune Wars.
Yes.
I set a hard date then. You weren't able to go. Matt had to work. Hector, I think Matt was gone that weekend. He had already plans, and Hector had to work. And I did the following weekend, and then somebody was sick, and somebody also had to work. And so it's like, okay, all right, but yeah, we'll do the cabin.
You should make a Facebook event and invite specific people and but
see,
make
then
it
I feel
far out enough to where people can be like, okay, I'm gonna schedule around this sort of thing.
I'll do something.
Wonder what month would be. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. So for me, as far as like my own convention, I would love to have I know this sounds silly or weird, but I think it would be interesting to have an epic game convention. But what I mean by that is literally have enough space to have tons of these giant
table
epic
killers
games, table killer games, just pre-set up before everybody even gets there. Literally have Twilight Imperium 4 set up, ready to go for people to play. Have Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea ready for people to go and play. Have Blood Rage set up. Have Rising Sun set up. Have Battlestar Galactica set up. Have all the games, all the giant games. Have War of the Rings set up. Have Star Wars Rebellion just set up, actually ready to play, set up on the table, and just help facilitate people to just be yo, if you know this game and you find another person that knows this game, you can literally just sit down and play the game because it's ready for you to play it, It would just be really cool to have an epic con where it's literally everything is these monster games. And I mean, you might not be able to get tons of games in that convention, but you'll be able to look around in a room that's just full of people playing ridiculous games everywhere, And I think that would be really interesting. It would be a lot of work to set it all up, but I'd totally be go in the day before and just set up all the games. It'd be all right, now I get to see all of my setup time unfold, and then I get there and everybody's over in the corner playing Ethnos, and then I'm real sad.
That would be tough, man, because the setup time for those games is epic. Just the setup time alone.
The thing that's so weird is I know how to set up all those games, so it's I could do it. I don't have to even really pull out the rule book much. I just do it out of my head, just set it all up. It would be cool. It'd be cool to have something like that, and it would be interesting and different. I don't know. Would anybody come to EpicCon? And if you did, which epic game would you play?
I am not going to play Flip Ships with Jason Levine. Sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. I think Jason is a nice guy.
Dude, everybody said that was the highlight of the entire stream for them.
After playing Muse, was it Muse that we played?
You're gonna cry.
Was it Muse?
Yes.
After
We're
playing
live.
Muse.
Don't go too hard, Rob.
It's just not for me. I think just not for me.
What was it?
But I tell you what, the dude is a phenomenal gamer. The guy is a gamer, and he is a big advocate for the board gaming hobby, and I appreciate him and I love him for that. And I thank him for what he does and all the help that he does with the Dice Tower and stuff like that. It's just I'm sarcastic. And I don't think he gets my sarcasm as much, and so it's just okay. So we're not gonna just not gonna play Flip Ships with him. That's about it.
Someday, Adam, the only table murdering games convention will happen someday.
Now, We have our D&D podcast coming up soon.
Super soon. Dude, Matt needs to get his computer fixed. That was the first thing I thought of. I was like, no.
Yeah.
uh, um, but yeah, super hyped. What else was I gonna say? I don't even remember. What's the next question?
I don't know.
What is your favorite tabletop convention?
Right now, Dice Tower Con.
I agree. I've been to a bunch of different conventions. I even know the other conventions, and I don't know how I would like them more than I currently like Dice Tower Con. Because it's got a bunch of cool media people, a bunch of our friends, tons of friends of the show, some cool publishers, and just literally just days to just play games and hang out. And you can actually hang out. Like,
Yeah.
literally, you can hang out with whoever you want to hang out with. You can hang out.
And the publishers are there to hang out and play because they're there as fans. Now I've heard similar things about BGG Con. I haven't been to BGG
Yeah, but I've
Con.
also heard that BGG Con is more of the Euro calculate your points sort of crowd as well. So it's a little bit more competitive as far as gaming goes as well. But maybe that's just, it depends on the circles you run in there.
I'd still like to check it out. Dallas has got great food.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm not just going just for the food, but Dallas.
I would love to go. I would love to go to BGG Con because I'm sure we could get into the Plaid Hat Studios and hang out with those guys too.
Even if we weren't doing the show, they would let us because they've taken groups from the con to their studio. They're just really cool guys. I really like the Plaid Hat guys. But yeah, that'd be the only one. Like, I don't know, Origins. I'd want to experience Origins just because I've never been there. But it's just a smaller Gen Con where the producers or the publishers, they get to play some, but they're still doing a lot of working because that's like the debut big con. So I don't know, just Dice Tower, like, they have all the new games because all the companies ship the games to Tom and them, and so they have all the new games. And so then there's the chance to be able to play with your friends. And they have so many tables. Would you
ever go to Essen?
Yeah, but I would go to Essen as a launch for like a European vacation.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like I'd go to Essen mostly just so I could like travel abroad and be like, okay, let's go to another country, go to Germany and see what's going on over there. It'd be cool to see the board gaming culture over there and all the different people over there too. And be able to say, hey, I went to Essen. That would be most of it.
Hold on right now. Something amazing is happening in chat. No, Essen would be cool, but I would love to go to I'd love to go back to Europe, and I would like to go to Essen because Essen's in Germany, right? Germany, also good food. For those that are watching, you can see that I have a face for radio. I love the food.
Awesome. So, what conventions are we trying to attend this year? I know people in chat have asked a couple times already. What conventions are you actually going to?
I'm gonna try to hit up a lot of the local cons.
Yeah.
Big cons. Probably not going to Gen Con this year. I may go to Gen Con. If I do, it's going to be an impromptu trip.
Yeah.
Kind of like my friend did last year of He Who Shall Not Be Named. How he did last year. I may do that.
WWLD, what would He Who Should Not Be Named do?
Right. I'm going to try to go to Dice Tower Con. The only problem is it's 4th of July weekend, and I know we have some work and stuff actually already planned out. Like my wife and I were members of a local community board, and we do a big 4th of July party, and I was able to get out of it last year. I don't know if I'll be able to get out of it 2 years in a row. So we'll just we'll see. But yeah, Dice Tower Con and Cool Mini or Not Expo, I'm going to try to go to that as well. And we'll I don't know. Also in my life, first of all, I'd go everywhere to meet all of you guys. I love all of our listeners, and everybody that puts up with us. But like in my life, outside of being a dad, and like heavily involved in the community. I'm also heavily involved in my church. I also am a business owner. Like, I'm actually in the process of buying the business from my mother. I'm taking over. I'm getting all my licenses and stuff, and I've been running the business as the owner for the past year, and now I'm getting to the point where I have to start to pay for the business. Um, and so that's going to cut into like my Kickstarters and cut into my cons and stuff that I have to go to because one, I've got to pay and manage a whole company with several employees. So um, I'm, I'm just in that transition right now, and um, some writing stuff is in the process of happening. And so I don't know. I love board games. Don't get me wrong. I'm very thankful for this, and I know that's not the question. The question was the cons we're going to. I'm just in a big, super long way
You'd
trying
love
to
to do
say
more, but it's hard to invest in that right
I
now.
yes, because I've got my hands in so many different things. So, and I'll shut up.
Nice. Well, I'm trying to do a bunch. I'm probably whatever I can do will be determinant on like helping out with the dice tower to help subsidize and do all that stuff. I really enjoy like going to the conventions and helping those guys out because it's really fun to hang out with them, and also like I feel like I'm helping the community as I help them grow and do their stuff as well. And it gives me kind of like a central place to be whenever people are looking for me. It's like, oh, where's Roy? Oh, I can go over to the Dice Tower booth and find him. But I'm trying to do Cool Mini or Not Expo. I'm planning on doing that. Traveling down. My family's actually in the Atlanta area, and that's Mother's Day, so that kind of makes it fit a little bit, so I can hang out with my mom a little bit and go to the Cool Mini or Not Expo. And I'm planning on helping out the Dice Tower there with any media stuff they have going on. I also want to do Dice Tower Con because I have to go because I did the Jack Vassal Memorial Fun thing with TI3 with Sam and Board Game Blitz crew. So I'm super excited about.
Hey, if you need a bodyguard for that, you just let me know, Roy.
We're trying to figure out how that's going to work out, but 4th of July weekend, so Dice Tower Con, definitely trying to make that happen. And then also I want to try to do Gen Con again, so that'd be amazing if I can make Gen Con happen. And then PAX Unplugged.
In Philly, yeah.
So I'm trying to see like who all's going and what's going on. I know there's several other like board game media people that aren't going to a lot of these other conventions that are going to PAX Unplugged, like that live up in the northern East Coast. And it'd be really cool to see some of those guys. So it'd be really cool to go to that convention. And just because I've heard that the atmosphere is very different, it's a lot of newer gamers and like video gamers that are coming over into board gaming, and it'd be really cool to check out PAX Unplugged, especially since I heard it was a great time and it's got a lot of play area, which is what we enjoy. Like in your convention, don't schedule out all of your play area. Like literally give people some places just to hang out and play whatever they want and not have to be tied to a schedule. It's really hard when you're in board game media to do board game media and be tied to a schedule, because we want to play with anybody who walks up. I don't want to be scheduled to play this game for 3 hours. If somebody who knows the show says, "Hey, Roy, Rob, love the show," we're like, "Hey, play a game with us right now." So, yeah, definitely trying to hit up those, and we'll let you guys know. I'm definitely trying to do a lot of the local ones too. I mean, we've talked about the Mega Moose Con. I'll say it, Mega Moose Con, that convention. International Tabletop Day. Of course, Recon's coming up this weekend. And then we'll see about like Mace and stuff like that as well. There's just it's a lot easier to just like pick up and do these local conventions when they happen. If it's like, okay, cool, I can make that convention happen. So yeah, so definitely check out conventions, guys. It's definitely a whole lot of fun, and whether they're big or small, they're definitely a lot of fun to get into. Just know what you're getting into when you make it happen. Awesome. Well, I guess we can try to wrap this thing up. Did you have anything else you want to throw out there, Rob?
No, just thankful and appreciate everybody, and thanks for putting up with us.
And if you ever see us at a convention, don't be shy. Definitely come up and say that you listen to the show. Because, like, honestly, we go to some of these shows and there's some people, I mean, we do some stuff with the Dice Tower and people are like, oh, you do Favorite Game Friday, or oh, hey, your Roy versus Rob thing, or oh, I like your reviews and stuff like that. They're really cool. it doesn't mean nearly as much as when somebody says, "Hey man, I listened to your podcast." It's like, "What? You're awesome." It's like, I know you're a true listener, or a true like a kindred spirit if you listen to us talk about board games for a couple hours.
I don't know why you do it. I'm thankful that you do it. But I don't get that you do it.
There's something about the podcast medium, just listening to people talk, that like you actually literally get to know that person, you know. I listen to so many podcasts, and it's so different from watching somebody on a video and seeing them do their little thing on the video, and then actually just like listening to someone just talk about whatever they want to talk about for an hour. Like, you, after doing that for however many months, you feel like they're one of your friends, you know. It's really cool when people come up to us and they feel like they're already friends with us. We just have to get acquainted with them as well, and we automatically have that like spark of friendship immediately, because they know if they do something crazy, Rob's gonna. It stinks because this whole podcast, like, I'm never gonna be able to win a Hidden Trader game against anybody who listens to the podcast. But that's the price you have to pay for doing a board game podcast, I guess.
Never trust Roy. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's just
evil propaganda started by the Rob Corporation that has been spread.
No, it's truth. And can't trust you. Even when we played Rising Sun, who was the first person you invaded? Me. Never played the game, never nothing. What's Roy do? Oh, okay, I'm attack Rob. I was like, okay, I noticed that. Roy. You didn't go after the other people that had played the game before. You went against the one guy who had never played before. So, yeah.
Nice.
Nope, it was mean.
Awesome, guys. We stream these podcasts Tuesday night at 9 p.m. at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out all of our podcasts there. Also, make sure to hit us up on Instagram and Twitter. We're always posting things we're excited about in board games. I've been trying to post a different board game every single day, so I've only got like 3 days down so far. But I'm trying to do a bunch of different board games and ask the different subscribers their thoughts, a question about that board game as well. So make sure to check out our Instagram feed, and then also make sure to hit us up on Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our amazing patrons for helping make Epic Gaming Night happen and helping us get to some of these conventions and things like that as well. So make sure to check that out at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. And yeah, it's been a blast.
Always a blast. And we do love you guys.
We miss you, Matt.
We do miss Matt, and I just wish whatever his situation at home with these computers and stuff, get it fixed, bro.
Can we get a moment of silence for Matt's computer?
Can that moment be when we turn off the show?
Yes, right after we turn off the show, everybody be silent for
moment of silence.
Moment of silence. Just everybody remember.
In memoriam.
Quiet yourself and remember Matt's computer. Like, is this like computer 3? This is computer 3.
It's
I
rough.
know he switches out the parts and things like that, but
it's
all that Bitcoin
he does not
mining,
take this
man.
lightly. He does not take this lightly. Like, he is upset about it.
Oh yeah. He's gonna be even more upset if it's not fixed by next Sunday, I'm sure.
What's going on next Sunday?
Isn't next Sunday the last Sunday of the week?
Oh yeah, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday.
It has to happen then.
Yeah.
So also we're starting up our D&D campaign as well, so make sure to check it out. I'll be announcing it everywhere all over the place. So make sure to check out that as it starts to gear up.
Yes, I'm a dragon-born, crazy paladin. Awesome stuff.
I was going to be a wizard gnome, but now I'm going with halfling rogue because we need somebody to check out the traps for us. And because we got all the other magic users, I was like, I'm going to be a wizard, guys, as long as nobody else wants to be magic. Everybody else is like, let's be magic. Okay, cool. I don't want Rob to be the only melee fighter. I think Adam's being melee fighter too. But Rob would just have to hold off all the bad guys, and we'd all just be behind him throwing stuff.
Well, like, my armor class and all that stuff is it's pretty high.
It better be. It better be.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to hold the brunt of the hits. Awesome, man.
I think it's going to be okay.
You guys are great.
Appreciate you guys.
And
Have
we'll
an
see
awesome
you guys
night.
next
We love
time.
you. Peace.
Peace.